The Shimano SLX is arguably one of the most popular, budget-friendly, $99, $100 reels in the market. But today I'm going to tell you why I don't think this is necessarily such a great buy. We are going to break down the traditional, original, OG Shimano SLX and compare it to the newer, better SLX XT. And I'm going to tell you why you should just skip over the original SX and splurge and get the XT, and you won't be pissed. And why the extra $30 is totally worth it. Let's break down the reels. Both reels have aluminum frames with graphite side plates, brass gears, graphite star drags, and they're offered in the same 3 gear ratios. The SLX is actually slightly lighter, coming in at 6.9 ounces. Cosmetically, it's a matte black finish all the way around the reel with blue accents. Boasts a 3+1 bearing system, so that's 3 bearings plus the anti-reverse bearing. Overall, a pretty smooth quality reel. Now, the SLX XT actually is just a touch heavier, and we'll talk about that later. It's 7.2 ounces, has a slightly different look, more of a dark pewter finish, and the bearings are 4+1. So you get 4 bearings plus anti-reverse. And the main thing is there's an extra bearing supporting the shaft on this reel, which seems to add a ton of sturdiness, making it more robust and a lot more smoother reel. But the really big difference between these two reels is in the brake systems. The $99 SLX has a single VBS variable brake system. Let me pop this open and show you what that's all about. There's the lever. You pop it open, and you can see you've got 6 variable weights that you can click on and off, centrifugal weights. These centrifugal weights, when you're in cast, they push out, they work on the brake, and that's how it brakes. The only other control you have is the tension knob for the spool. That being said, it's a pretty good brake system. It works pretty well. Let's talk about why the SLX XT is a superior brake. The SLX XT has the SVS Infinity system. It's a dual brake system. So on top of the tension knob, you still have the variable brakes inside. You get 4 variable brakes that you can adjust, similar to the SLX XT, just 2 less. But on top of that, you have this dial where you can adjust the tension of the brake cylinder. So basically, as you adjust the side plate, this brass shoe goes in and out to give you kind of an infinite adjustment on how fine-tuned you can do the brakes. So if you're throwing jerk baits, crank baits, buzz baits, things that are hard to throw in the wind, these extra adjustments are key for maintaining spool control and still yielding top distance without torquing down the spool tension knob. So you can see here with the brake all the way off, you can see that exposed gray cylinder inside of the brass. When I turn the brake all the way up, it comes completely flush and gives you more engagement on your brakes. Overall, both these reels are very compact, easy to palm for a size 150 spool, which carries a nice amount of line and allows you to do a lot of different things. The XT is ever so slightly wider and taller in hand, but it's hardly noticeable when on your rod. It's accommodating a little extra width for the extra brake system. There are a few other small cosmetic details outside of the colors. The matte black of the SLX versus the kind of pewter, little bit more steel silver look of the XT. I actually prefer this look a little bit better. The other things are on the knobs. You get the chrome touches on the SLXT instead of just all black. Slightly different styling on the tension knobs. And then your side plates, you have the really bold, big SLX on the SLX and a little subtler SLX XT, and then the stylings of the additional brake system to give it a slightly different look. And then on the front of your reel, you get a little touch of chrome right in here with the XT just to make it spruce up and look a little sharper on your rod. Both of these reels look amazing on Dobyns Champion XP rods and their Maverick series. So if you're kind of the person that likes to match things up, those two rods are really great to look at when matching up these SLX reels. We've talked about the specs on these reels. Now let's talk about my personal experience on top of that. Last season, I purchased this SLX. I had it on my dock rod. I used it for about 2-3 months. And with the hard, abrasive hook sets from throwing 3/8 and 1/2 ounce jigs under docks with a hard hook set on a 5-power Dobyns rod, the anti-reverse went out. Now, to Shimano's credit, they stood behind it. They covered it. The reel's like new. They repaired it. but it didn't quite hold up to the abuse. Since then, I've moved this rod over to a 734. I mainly use it for swim jigs. This is the 150 XG 8-to-1 version. Overall, it served me very well throwing things like swim jigs. Swim jigs are pretty easy to cast around in the wind. I don't really need that extra variable brake system. So for this application, it's serving me really well at $100. The SLX I got at the beginning of last spring and have been more than happy with this reel. There's just something about that extra bearing on the shaft that makes this reel just feel a little more sturdy in hand, a little more robust, and just a little more well put together. Overall, I just have more confidence using this reel with hard hook sets and putting it through the paces with that extra bearing. It feels so much more solid in hand. And when you're fishing it, it's hard to explain. It just fishes with a lot higher quality, and it's well worth that extra $30. As far as durability and quality, I've got a full season out of this. I have mainly paired this reel up with my Dobyns XP 744 jig special rod, and I have mainly flipped 3/4 ounce tungsten, 3/4 ounce tungsten jigs, Texas rigs, and things like that, and grass, milfoil, where I am short lining them, snapping that hook back, and slamming it to them. And I have had no issues with this reel. It has stood the test of time after dozens and dozens and dozens of bass on short line hard hook sets with 20-pound fluorocarbon, and still feels as smooth and durable and robust as the day I got it. So I'm very impressed with this, not only in hand, but on the water. In actuality, the SLX reel is actually a really good reel for $100. If that's your max budget and that's all you can do, I would never stop you from ordering or buying an SLX Shimano reel. But if $129 is absolutely not going to break your bank, I would recommend, and I personally would go with the XT every single time. And when other anglers ask me what's the best budget entry-level baitcaster to get, this was one of them at the top of my recommendation almost every single time. To be honest, both these reels are actually great reels, and it shows. They're hard to find in stock, but if you're looking for one, I'll leave some links in the description below at a couple of the best online stores to grab these two reels down the links in the description below. If you love rod, reel, gear videos like these, make sure you check out this playlist popped up on the screen right here.